Hello folks, how are you all doing today? I am doing just peachy. And would you like to know why? We have just entered our 22nd state. This is Georgia, the peach state. I am very excited to explore what I believe is one of those anchors of the South. Here in Georgia, you can really get a sense of that Old South flavor, especially in the place we are today. Now we are in Forsyth Park. This is probably where we are, this community's greatest public park. Here you could just stroll down acres and acres of beautiful coastal land and really see the natural beauty of the place we're in. Not only in this park can you find the usual oak and palmetto trees native to this coastal area, but you can also find trees that have leaves or whatever they are that droop down from the branches. Yeah, this is called Spanish moss, and if I've been told one thing about these trees, or the leaves, rather, you don't touch it. Don't touch the Spanish moss. Now, what do you think of when you hear of the state of Georgia? I mean, you might not even hear it that way. You might hear the locals call it Georgia, like the old southern accent. But here in Georgia, it's known for being quite the southern state. This is the state that was the home of Coca-Cola, now the internationally known beverage, soft drink. Cola. Actually, here in the South, they call all sodas Coke. You want an orange Coke, you want a lemon lime Coke, you want a regular Coke. It's all Coke. Not soda, not pop. Coke down here in the South. And that's because of Georgia's influence on the soda industry. Given that the climate of Georgia was very, very suitable and still is for agriculture, you're going to hear about the 3 P's. Peaches. That's why it's called the Peach State, and it's on the license plate and the state quarter and everything. You have peanuts, and finally you have pecans, or pecans, or pecans, or however you want to pronounce it. But the 3 P's of Georgia, Georgians are very proud of. The whole Georgia is very well known for its hot, humid climate, and that's why many people from up north go down to Georgia for vacations sometimes. And yes, of course, the climate of Georgia also produced the environment to harbor slavery. It was a slave state. It was part of the Confederacy for the same reasons as a lot of the other states. They wanted to keep slavery. That's not to say that the culture of Georgia hasn't modernized in the last 150 years. Ever heard of Atlanta, one of America's largest cities? Right here in Georgia. We're not in Atlanta though. We are in the coast of Georgia. Coastal Georgia provides a little bit different of a climate. Where we are actually is quite similar to Charleston in history and culture, but we are in Savannah. So yeah, Atlanta, it's a huge city, one of the largest cities in the country, not only the South. And it acts as this hub for Southern culture across the country. It brings out influence in music, art, food, you name it. But I feel like everybody knows a little too much about Atlanta. It wouldn't be fun to just go to such a big city. Let's go to someplace else in Georgia. Even though Savannah is kind of a well-known city for tourism, I feel like we can get a lot more out of a visit to a smaller place here in Georgia. It was founded by the same person who founded the colony of Georgia before the state of Georgia. So there is a lot more to see. Enough of us just talking here in this park. Savannah is a large, historically beautiful city that we should definitely film instead of here. So let's go downtown and see the beauty, the urban beauty that is Savannah. In addition to the historical legacy of Savannah, which you can see plainly, the brick streets, the brick buildings, what's also to admire is just the way nature and human development go hand in hand here. On many of the streets, you'll find that the trees have branches that go over the roads, so it's a nice shady area and it makes for some great views, just walking down a residential district or something. Like this, for example. Now, I've seen large churches as we go down into the south here, but I think this one takes the cake. This is the largest one we've seen so far. Reminds you of like those traditional European cathedrals. I'd like to also point this out. Normally it would be very easy for me to locate the historic downtown, but maybe we're already in it. There's just such harmony with all the trees and the brick sidewalks and everything that it's hard to tell you're in this big urban area. It's actually a weird layout. Normally things would be in a direct, strict grid-like pattern, but with Savannah it's a bit different. The founder, James Oglethorpe, also, as I said, the person who founded Georgia back in 1733, designed the city very uniquely. In the middle of all these streets are these little squares with natural scenery. It's a nice distraction when in front of you you'd see all these buildings as well. Seriously, all these streets are adorned with the Spanish moss trees and beautifully designed churches. Oh, there's, if that counts, the Savannah clock. But beautiful scenery all around. I like how we're on this little brick cobblestone street, and to be honest, this is probably one of the historic streets before all the modern streets went above. But it goes underneath here and we're walking here, and it's a great sight. Seeing how historic these old streets are, with the brick roads, with the brick buildings, and seeing how also historically most southern cities were destroyed, the old part, at the end of the Civil War. You wonder, how did this city with its old architecture survive? Well, you can thank the mayor of Savannah at the time. As the Union forces were advancing, the mayor made a deal that if you, the Union Army, protect this city, we will just surrender. We'll let you have control of Savannah. And at the time, Savannah was an important port city. So of course the Union wanted this place. And because of that deal brokered, we can see the antebellum architecture still preserved here in Savannah. Now here we are on Savannah's Riverfront Plaza, and as the name suggests, you can see a large major river here. Now, can you guess the name of this mighty river? It's the Savannah River. Everything around here is named after Savannah. The city and the river are both named after a group of the Shawnee Native American tribe who once resided in this area. And believe it or not, on the other side, that's not Georgia, that is South Carolina. That's right, the Savannah River basically flows down pretty much the border between Georgia and South Carolina. If you look on a map, that squiggly line going southeast, that is the entire Savannah River. And it flows until it reaches the Atlantic Ocean. Little alley is filled to the brim with a lot of these shops catered for tourists. It's such a wonderful preservation of a historic city. Not many cities can boast that. Before we close out our day here in Savannah, Georgia, my sweet tooth is kicking a little bit. So I think now that we are here in the Peach State, there is one thing that I think will do the trick.
Regular peach cobbler ice cream?
Yeah, believe it or not, I have never had a peach cobbler before.
You've never had peach cobbler?
No, I'm from up to the north, so I gotta have the classic.
So, I'm gonna do something for you.
Yeah. Think of an apple pie, but instead of apple, it's peach, and then there's ice cream added alongside that. And then you have a peach cobbler. It's very tasty. And on this hot Savannah day, this is just what I need. It's amazing, the different flavors of sweetness, the ice cream, the peaches. Oh, it melts in your mouth. And I'm sure people from other states have at least heard of the peach cobbler, but it's a staple here in Georgia as a sweet dessert after a long day. As much as we've talked about the history behind Savannah in Georgia, today it still stands as a pretty important port city on the Atlantic. And as the 5th largest city in Georgia, like a lot of the other southern cities, it is steadily growing. So with that said, what a great day we had here in Savannah, Georgia. So with that said, what a fun, eventful day we've had in Savannah. And as we continue in the Peach State, we'll have more and more adventures. So, standing in front of a nice, well, another one of Savannah's many squares for people to congregate and relax, Ellis Square. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.